Welcome! In this episode, we examine 9 historical facts that often surprise people. For each item, I'll describe the evidence historians use, note the most important interpretive caveats, and explain why each point reshapes common ideas about the past. Fact 1. Cleopatra and the Great Pyramid. It's a comparison that often circulates online as a surprising piece of trivia, but its implications run much deeper than a simple gotcha. It forces us to confront our often blurry perception of ancient history. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a breathtaking monument to the pharaoh Khufu, dates to roughly 2560 BCE. It belongs to an era we call the Old Kingdom, a period characterized by a powerful, centralized pharaonic state and a distinct cultural identity. The language was Old Egyptian, written in complex hieroglyphs. The religion was centered on a pantheon of gods like Ra and Osiris. The architectural ambition was focused inward, on creating eternal resting places for divine kings. Now let's journey forward in time. Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, governed in the 1st century BCE. That's nearly 25 centuries after the last stone was set on the Great Pyramid. To put that in perspective, the time separating Cleopatra from the pyramid's construction is greater than the time separating her from the first moon landing. Her world was profoundly different. She was a descendant of a Greek Macedonian general, Ptolemy I Soter. The administrative language of her court was Koine Greek, not ancient Egyptian. While she honored traditional Egyptian deities, her era was defined by religious syncretism, blending Greek and Egyptian gods into figures like Serapis. Her capital, Alexandria, was a cosmopolitan hub of Hellenistic culture, famed for its great library and lighthouse, not pyramids. This juxtaposition isn't mere trivia. It highlights how our category of ancient often collapses millennia and conceals important historical discontinuities. We can't treat 2,500 years of history as a single static period. Secure chronological placement depends on rigorous methods. Archaeological stratigraphy allows us to date layers of settlement, seeing the Hellenistic world built literally on top of much older foundations. Inscribed records, from monumental hieroglyphs to administrative papyri in Greek, provide direct textual evidence. Finally, comparative historical sequences, which cross-reference records from Egypt with those from Rome, Persia, and Greece, give us confidence in separating these distinct eras and appreciating the immense span of human history. Fact 2. Humans on a geological timeline. Earth's age is approximately 4.54 billion years. In that span, the emergence of life, multicellular complexity, and vertebrate radiations each occupy vast eras. Homo sapiens and the rise of agricultural societies are a very recent phenomenon by comparison. Historians and environmental scholars use this long view to reframe questions of scale. What seems temporally close in human terms can be infinitesimal geologically, and that perspective affects debates about human impact and resilience. Fact 3. The oldest university problem. This question seems simple, but the answer is one of the most debated topics in educational history, hinging entirely on what we mean by the word university. Is it a physical place of learning, a community of scholars, or a legally recognized degree-granting corporation? The answer changes depending on the definition we choose, revealing a fascinating story about how higher education has evolved across different cultures and continents. It's a classic case where a simple superlative, the oldest, hides a world of historical complexity and nuance. To unravel this, we must look beyond popular claims and examine the specific historical evidence that supports each contender for the title. Several medieval learning centers, particularly in the Islamic world, present compelling cases. The University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco, founded in 859 as a mosque and madrasa, is often cited by Guinness World Records as the oldest existing, continually operating educational institution in the world. Similarly, Al-Azhar University in Cairo, established around 970, evolved from a center of Islamic learning into a modern university with a wide-ranging secular curriculum. These institutions preserve continuous documentary traces of study and scholarship spanning many centuries, demonstrating an incredible legacy of intellectual tradition and endurance. They were beacons of knowledge, attracting scholars and students from across the globe long before the university model became common in Europe. But calling one of these the oldest university depends entirely on our definition. If we define a university in the European sense, as a legally autonomous corporation with the power to grant degrees, or licentia dicendi, then the University of Bologna, founded around 1088, is often considered the first. It wasn't founded by a monarch or religious edict, but as a guild of students who hired scholars to teach them. This model of a chartered institution with a formal curricular structure and degree system became the blueprint for universities across Europe and, eventually, the world. So the debate becomes, do we prioritize continuous teaching, like at Al-Qarawiyyin, or the specific corporate structure pioneered at Bologna? To navigate this, institutional historians parse a wide array of evidence. They examine Waqf records, charitable endowment deeds that funded institutions like Al-Qarawiyyin and Al-Azhar, to trace their financial and operational continuity. They study foundation inscriptions on buildings and analyze surviving curricular texts to understand what was taught and how. For European universities, they scrutinize papal bulls and royal charters that granted legal status and privileges. By comparing these different forms of evidence, scholars can reconstruct the unique histories of each institution. This meticulous work shows that simple superlatives rarely capture the nuance that scholarship demands. The oldest university isn't a single place, but a concept with multiple, equally valid origins in different cultural traditions. Fact 4. Anecdotes, myth, and biography. Popular portraits of historical figures are often built from late anecdotes, satirical accounts, or glosses that circulate without critical scrutiny. Such stories reveal how cultural memory forms, but they do not automatically equal verified biography. Historians triangulate across letters, administrative archives, contemporaneous chroniclers, and material evidence before accepting colorful claims about personality or habit. The result is often a more cautious, but more reliable portrait. Fact 5. Customs and shifting symbolic meanings. Practices such as omens, gestures, or ritual acts must be read in their specific contexts. A sneeze, an offering, a gesture, or a public demonstration could carry different symbolic weight depending on civic, religious, or domestic settings. Recovering those meanings requires attention to textual sources, inscriptions, and comparative ethnographic analogies. This contextual approach prevents anachronistic or universalizing interpretations. Fact 6. Ancient calendars and observational systems. Civil calendars, like the Egyptian 365-day civil year, arose from long-term observation of river cycles, stellar risings, and seasonal rhythms. These timekeeping systems served administrative, agricultural, and ritual functions. Historians of science and archaeoastronomers rely on astronomical records, calendar texts, and agricultural documents to understand both the precision and the limits of ancient calendrical technology. Fact 7. Conspiracies and political networks. High-profile political episodes, assassinations, coups, and regime crises are often simplified into single dramatic events. The assassination of Julius Caesar, for instance, involved a broad constellation of senators and motives that reflect institutional friction, personal rivalries, and ideological contention. Political historians reconstruct networks, incentives, and contemporary rhetoric to show that many pivotal moments are the outcome of protracted social and political processes, rather than isolated acts. Fact 8. Material durability and maritime evidence. Stories of bottles, logs, or archival items drifting and resurfacing years later are empirically interesting because they intersect material culture studies and oceanography. Such finds inform models of buoyancy, polymer degradation, and current systems. Treating these finds as data rather than romantic anecdote lets historians and scientists draw lessons about material resilience and ocean circulation. Fact 9. Prehistoric medical practices. Archaeological analyses document cranial trepanation and other surgical traces in prehistoric contexts, with evidence of bone remodeling indicating survival after procedures. Osteological analysis, radiography, and careful contextual study permit interpretations about technique, possible therapeutic intent, and the social structures that supported post-operative care. These findings expand our understanding of prehistoric health systems and social care networks. As we conclude our journey through these 9 points of history, it becomes clear that the past is not a static collection of facts, but a dynamic field of inquiry. Each surprising detail we've explored, from the timeline of Cleopatra to the evidence of prehistoric surgery, gains its true significance only when we understand how we know what we know. The power lies not just in the stories, but in the methods used to uncover and verify them. These methods are the bedrock of historical scholarship, transforming scattered clues into a coherent picture of the past. We've touched upon several of these critical tools. Textual criticism, for instance, allows us to analyze ancient manuscripts, papyri, and inscriptions, discerning original texts from later copies or forgeries, giving us a clearer window into the worlds of Hellenistic Egypt or the founding of the first universities. Stratigraphic dating, a cornerstone of archaeology, lets us read the layers of the earth like pages in a book, establishing chronologies for everything from the construction of the pyramids to the settlements of our earliest ancestors. Then there is osteology, the study of bones, which offers profound insights into the lives of individuals. It reveals not just the dramatic evidence of procedures like trepanation, but also the subtle stories of diet, disease, and the physical demands of daily life, painting a deeply human portrait of our predecessors. Archival continuity provides another pillar of certainty, allowing us to trace the unbroken chain of records that document the administrative life of an institution or the intricate plotting of a political conspiracy. And through comparative analysis, we can place disparate societies side by side, identifying shared patterns in human behavior and unique cultural innovations, from calendar systems to social customs. In this episode, we've made a conscious effort to connect our claims to these foundational methods. When we present a piece of information, we signal its origins on screen with concise citations, the author and year, to anchor every statement in the underlying research. This isn't just an academic formality, it's a commitment to transparency. It's an invitation for you, the viewer, to see the scaffolding of evidence that supports the narrative, and to appreciate that history is a discipline built on verifiable data and rigorous interpretation. For those who wish to explore these topics further, we've compiled a compact reading list in the video description. This annotated bibliography includes key primary sources and essential modern syntheses that informed this episode, providing a direct path into the scholarly conversation. Thank you for watching. The past is an immense and complex territory, and navigating it requires care, curiosity, and a respect for evidence. If you value this approach, if you believe in careful, source-based history explained clearly, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Join us for more episodes that prioritize evidence, honor context, and ask better, more insightful questions about our shared human story.